It's daybreak here on the Rise News. Time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages of the papers as they arrive. Let's take a look at our sister publication, This Day newspaper. Federal government says the terror alert on the FCT by foreign embassies unverified and misleading, says warnings are not for Nigerians. Meanwhile, UK insists there's increased threat in Abuja. Just below that, the photo of former President Goodluck Jonathan with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo during the launch of the book titled Deputizing and Governance in Nigeria. That was yesterday. Just above Osinbajo, why hard-working deputies run into problems. And at the top of this day, just above the nameplate, Emefiele, e-Naira recorded 8 billion transactions in 1 year.
And let's take a look at the headlines in the Punch newspaper now. Buhari Osinbajo orders to get 63 billion Naira pensioners kick. And also in the Punch newspaper, Lagos-Ibadan Bridge joint reopens, drivers slammed Julius Berger. And also, fuel scarcity grounds Lagos, Ogun, Abuja, commuters stranded.
Let's take a look at the Nation newspaper this morning. Scarcity petrol ex-depot price rises to 179 Naira per litre. Oyetola leads supporters in 9.2-kilometer walk for Tinubu Shetima. Above the nameplate of the Nation, Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo governorship polls fixed for November 11th, 2023.
And let's take a look at the Daily Sun. Fuel scarcity spreads, transport fare soar. Lagos, Abuja paralyzed as Ipman blames depot. And Kanu, why we transferred 21 justices, says the appeal court. Federal government deplores security alert by foreign embassies. And Senate, federal government clash over multi-billion Naira employment scheme.
Some international papers now. The Independent, leading with the photo of a warm welcome in number 10 for the new Prime Minister as he promises to fix party's mistakes. Meanwhile, voters demand election. That's 2/3 of Britons say they want their say after Sunak takes office.
Now let's bring in Emmanuel Bello for analysis on press review. Thank you for joining us as always, Emmanuel. We'll begin with our sister publication This Day, and it's about the alert that was raised by the US-UK embassy just a few days ago. Now the federal government is coming out to rebuff it, calling it misleading. And let's contemplate that for a moment. This was security intel that was brought to the notice of the federal government. And now the government is rebutting what the US-UK embassies have said about the high security alert, especially the FCT. Your thoughts?
Yes, Benny, right after those alerts, the federal government actually released what looks like a rebuke, saying that, look, you don't tell our people this, you will cause panic, there will be a lot of confusion, but the alert was meant for, essentially, from the US. It's meant for those who, they're speaking to they largely do this first and foremost because of their citizens, and of course because of the concern that they have for the international community, and of course the people in which countries they live in. But it's kind of strange now to find Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, just turning around and essentially rebuking the people that are actually warning and saying, look, you could be in danger. I'm sure a lot of readers will find that a bit strange. Of course, the minister himself said that, look, no, the problem with this kind of information is that our people are panicked, that schools were closed down, and that there were all sort of, sort of reaction, and that if this kind of information were kept inside, were not made public, people will not panic. I beg to disagree. We're already panicked, we're already scared. A lot of us live in fear, I think the best you can say is that like those kind of alerts just heighten the fear and the panic or the state of fear that you and I, Benny, find ourselves daily. But it's almost uncharitable to actually rebuke someone that is trying to alert you, someone that is trying to warn you of dangers, and then you turn around and then you rebuke them in that manner. You say, well, they are misleading. If they were misleading, Benny, why were their reactions immediately? Because right after those US alerts, we saw, the military, especially, doubling up its surveillances and all the other things that they do around such kind of warnings. So it means that they actually took the warnings seriously. It's mixed messages and flip-flopping if 24 hours later or 48 hours later you turn around and say, why did you ever issue those kind of warnings? So it's essentially warning someone that was actually also trying to alert you to say, look, there are dangers here, focus here. I think it's heads up that those security outfits are trying to give out, or the US government is trying to give out and say, look, be proactive in this area, watch this area more, stay close, and do. I don't think they deserve a rebuke. What they deserve is partnership, is working together with them, sharing more intelligence information around, and not this open kind of rebuke that we're used to doing.
Yes, Emmanuel, and like you said, if this information is kept inside, it does not do any justice to the Nigerian citizens. If citizens are panicky, then it just helps them to be more focused on their own personal security and take some measures whichever way they can to sort of secure themselves. Now, the Minister of Information also went on to say that these alerts were not even issued for Nigerians. He said they were issued for the citizens of the the issuer, exactly. And my question is, if citizens, if tourists or if other citizens in your country do not feel safe, if the US or the UK has to issue some sort of high-risk alert for their own citizens in your country, doesn't that mean that your own citizens are at risk of that insecurity as well?
Exactly, it's just basic logic, if they're warning their citizens, it means that your spaces are not safe enough for their citizens. And if your spaces are not safe enough for their citizens, it's probably not safe for you. But that's not even the issue, Nkechi. The issue is rebuking the person who is just basically telling you that, look, based on our intel, based on what we know, you are in danger. And then you turn around and then you rebuke them. You tell them that, well, they're saying that to the Nigerian public, it's wrong. Where else do you want them to take those kind of information to? And I think another thing is that probably it's also the frustrations that some of these, the embassies are probably having working with the local authority that will make them, practically bypass them to go push those kind of information outside. Of course, there are people that will say that, well, you should have worked more with them and explore all the internal means of working directly with, your host country, rather than actually throwing up such very, very sensitive information. But then this is not even the first time. I think what we should be thinking about now, we must move the issue beyond that to look at the cooperation, the sort of partnership that we're entering with this intelligent or those kind of reports, or the nation issuing it, to see that this is forestalled. At the end of the day, if we're safer and our spaces are more secured and the tourists are freer, it's good for all. It's a win-win situation, both for the country that is warning us, or the embassies that are warning us, and then of course the country that is proactive enough to be able to to take care of some of the issues being raised. So I really don't see why we should be at loggerheads over one party warning and the other party not doing enough to take those warnings seriously.
Now let's take a major headline in the Punch newspaper, where they said that Buhari Oshibaji orders to get 63 billion naira in pensioners kick. Now there's some benefits accruing to former president, vice president, governors, and deputy governors. Your 2 cents on this, Emmanuel?
I totally agree with the pensioners who are saying that it's a bit insensitive when you look at the amounts involved, over 60 billion or so naira involved in just severance package. And it's not as if these are people that have done so brilliantly well when they were in offices. So it's part of the overhead, the costs of running governance, of running democracies in this part of the world that is very expensive. Apart from the huge sum of money these people make in office, you see this mouth-watering severance package. The idea that when you are leaving office, you go with the least, I think, in that amount is special advisor will go with about something million naira. Commissioners are getting a whole lot. The presidents are there, vice president are there. So this is the cost of governance. And pensioners are saying that why not just give us the little that belongs to us? These are the kind of the kind of amount you take home. We're not asking for that much. We're just asking for little. It's so sad that people that have actually put on real work, that have done the real hard work of working for this country, don't get anything. Politicians who get fat salaries and who are in big offices still come out and then get this kind of mouth-watering severance packages. In most cases, they don't even get them. You only see them on paper. I was commissioner myself, and I don't know whether I came out with any severance or not. So there's that, but then it's like what the pensioners are saying is that, look, these amounts are just insensitive in a country where you have this huge amount of hardship, suffering. You are spending those kind of money on people that practically did well when they were also in office. So the real workers who are the civil servants or the people that have worked in the civil service force who will come out without any pension, they are complaining, and I think their complaints are in order.
Speaking of hardship and suffering, if you take a look at the leading photos on the front of the Punch newspaper this morning, for scarcity grounds, Lagos, Ogun, Abuja, and commuters are stranded. I can't count how many times we've reported fuel scarcity this year, beginning from January when we had that report of adulterated PMS that came into the country and was destroying people's cars, essentially. Now we're back square one, I guess. And in our report, there was no clear reason behind this fuel scarcity. Some are saying that has to do with a crisis within the supply system. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts?
Well, Nkechi, I just share your own thoughts on this, that look, we have lost count on how many times we are reporting on fuel scarcity. It's such a serious problem that even the Nation newspaper pushed away a story they would have ordinarily led with, the story of Autumn. They denied article. It's the kind of story that a Nation newspaper would have loved to celebrate. But the serious problem of scarcity is such a strange one that the Nation newspaper is leading with it. I think some other people led with the story of scarcity. I think the Sun newspaper. It does tell you the dimension, the huge crisis around the issue of scarcity. And you say, like you said, Nkechi, this one is a bit mysterious because you can't really put your hand on it to say this is the problem. Some people are blaming it on the supply chain. Others are saying it's because of the larger problem of the fact that we're not refining this product here and all that. Recently, in the Abuja sector, we thought it was the flooding thing, the crisis of transporting fuel around from Lokoja to this place. But those floods are receding, the roads are clear now, and you still have this long queues. What is clear, even if we don't understand the reason, what is very clear now is the hardship and those long queues that have just suddenly resurfaced almost mysteriously, and nobody seems to know what to do about it. And NNPC is not telling us a lot. It's not been talking to us. In the past, NNPC would like to offer some kind of explanation, some kind of hope on when these things will be over. But for now, for this particular season of scarcity, it's been so quiet from that end. Maybe before the end of the day, there will be some kind of release or something to at least let us understand, talk to us, let us know what the problem is.
Emmanuel Bello, thank you very much for joining us. Now that's the press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter at The Rise TV. You can also join today's conversation using the hashtag RiseDaybreak.